Good morning, everyone. Let's discuss about ASTRA, the daily current affairs that is scheduled for today. So, I'm going to discuss about the 21st of March 2026 current affairs from the Hindu. This is for those students who are preparing for Union Public Service Commission, Civil Services Examination, and who are not knowing about what to read in the current affairs. And for other state public service commissions also, this will be helpful. And after this, those who do not have the time, you can attend our Solve to Learn. After making this every day in the evening, around 8:15, we are going to have a program known as Solve to Learn, where we will be giving some MCQs based on the present day's newspaper. So that will be a comprehensive analysis of and preparation of your exam oriented current affairs. So today it is 21st of March. I wish everyone a very happy Ramjan, first of all, and then we'll start with the class of the day. So let's start with what are the current affairs that we have in today's newspaper, that is from the day of 21st of March, Saturday, 2026, the Hindu edition. It is an international edition again. I already said that we are going to discuss about international edition of Hindu newspaper. In this context, what are the things? Let me keep very simple. I'll not drag. Let's keep it very simple and precise so that who are not able to prepare, you'll be knowing what is what. Let's start with this. Iran steps up attacks on Israel, Gulf energy sites. So this is the ongoing West Asian crisis. So it has entered into the third week. So in this context, they have given this. Now recently, today, just 1 hour before, it is said that Iran also has sent some ballistic missiles towards Georgia, which is present in the Indian Ocean region, which is under UK's territory, because the United Kingdom has said that they are going to support US in this war. So these are the latest updates. So in this context, what you should know, at least everyone should know what are the borders of Iran, what are Gulf countries, and West Asia as a map. 3, 4 is which countries, which capital. Countries in West Asia and what are the capitals of it. This is expected from everyone. So this is the minimum first thing that we are expecting. So after that, guys, so this is the thing, act of faith. So the country is celebrating Eid today. So devotees offer the so-called Eid ul Fitr namaz, right? So we wish everyone a very happy Eid. So may this festival bring you all the lights and glory that you are looking for in the upcoming year. So after this, in the front page, center raises prices of premium petrol and industrial diesel. Now the war impact is being felt on the common man, particularly for the premium diesel and industrial diesel, petrol and diesel. Government of India has started raising the so-called prices. Now it is very sure that it won't take much time when the prices reflect back on the burden of the consumers. So this is one problem that is happening. Next, they have given about India and Kashmir, how it is getting impacted, because there was a cotton which is being carried from the so-called Iran, and they are preparing some textiles here. So Kashmiri artists are having some carpets. So they are named after some Iranian cities. As a result, this topic is given. So in the front page, only one thing, the regular affairs that is happening in the West Asia has given and how they are being impacted. So this is first one. Coming to the so-called states page, again, whenever I say states page is not important unless and until you are preparing for a particular state exam. You have to go and look at that news. But otherwise, we do not have much. Only some noteworthy points are, recently Chhattisgarh government has passed, Chhattisgarh Assembly has passed a bill to curb cheating in recruitment exams. All the government exams, if something is happening or frauds are happening in the exams, they are taking stringent actions on this. So they can ask which government has passed an act or a bill or law in their assembly in order to arrest this leakages in recruitment of the examinations. So this is Chhattisgarh. The rest of the things are not that much important. Next one is regarding to the news again. CAPF bill gives priority to IPS officers. Government says new law will curb unnecessary litigation. So Central Armed Police Force, so on deputation basis, IPS officers used to go and they used to head this paramilitary forces. So now there is a conflict between the army officials as well as the so-called Indian police services, saying that if you are giving this deputation post to the so-called retired IPS officers or the serving IPS officers, what would be the majors and veterans of the army will be doing? So in this context, there was a litigation. Now, Government of India or Ministry of Home Affairs said that they will be looking into this. Not that much important again, you can leave it. Next one is, the rest of the things are not that important here. Our appeals are being ignored, says leaders from Nicobar Islands. They visited or they have went and approached the opposition leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, expressing concerns about the Growth Nicobar project that has been started by the Government of India based on the recommendations of Niti Aayog. So we all know that in the Great Nicobar, Government of India decided to construct an international airport, international transshipment port. Along with this, they wanted to develop the so-called townships and the so-called a power plant. So these are the four things that they have planned. And the communities there are worrying about the disturbance to the pristine ecosystems of Great Nicobar. So in this context, this is in news. Already this we have discussed in our current affairs, Great Nicobar project. So for this, you should remember what is Andaman Nicobar Islands, what is the geography of it. You have to remember the so-called North Andaman, Middle Andaman, Little Andaman, South Andaman, Car Nicobar, Middle Nicobar, Great Nicobar, Indira Point. This is the order that you have to remember. And the southernmost tip of Indian's border is Indira Point. And just you have to look at where this Great Nicobar Island project is being constructed. So, and this is first thing that they can ask. The second thing is we should know about the national parks where it is present. And then there are two volcanoes which are always in use as far as Andaman and Nicobar is considered, Narkondam Islands as well as Barren Islands. So you have Barren Islands volcano, which is active volcano, which was a previous year question, by the way. And they can ask questions on the national parks here. Apart from that, Andaman and Nicobar is famous for two particular tribes known as the Negrotoid tribes and Great Andamanese tribes. You should remember who are which tribes. Now, if you want to know further, in the evening, whenever I do the bits, we have given a question on that. We will be discussing that. But from this concept, this is a thing that you should be able to remember. So this is what one context. After this is about assembly polls, not important. The only thing is we should know that 5 states are going for elections, 4 states plus 1 union territory, that is Puducherry, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, and Assam are going for assembly elections this year. So in this context, they have dedicated one page regarding to this, so you can conveniently neglect the entire page. And then this is about the so-called Renewable Energy Ministry demands sweeping powers. Now, Renewable Energy Ministry. Now, there are two ministries, Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy. The conflict which is related to it is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is saying that their powers are not present as to that of Ministry of Power. So in India, electricity is being governed under the Ministry of Power, but the Ministry of Renewable Energy says that today, if you look at the entire power generation, last year in November 2025, more than 50% of electrical energy has been generating from the so-called renewable energy. So they are contributing more compared to the so-called the conventional sources of energy. As a result, what these people are asking is, the ministry is asking that we should have more powers rather than what they have given us. Again, this is not that much important. Just you have to know what is what. If you are optionally some electrical engineering, then these questions can be asked. Next. ASTRA nominated film on Gaza orally rejected by CBFC, say distributor, leave it. Former Supreme Court judge, senior advocate, joined panel to guide NCRT curriculum. We all know that. Recently, the Supreme Court of India has intervened and taken an action on the so-called book that is released by NCRT, particularly the Class 8 Social Studies book, where it has said that some paragraphs in that book are not according to the are in line with the so-called contempt of court. As a result, Supreme Court has ordered them to remove that portions. So this Class 8 textbook, what it carried is, there is a chapter here. The chapter is the role of Indian judiciary in our society. So this is what the chapter that they contained earlier. the role of judiciary in our society, class 8 NCRT, social science book. In that thing, what they have written is corruption in the judiciary. So there was one paragraph on corruption in judiciary. Now Supreme Court intervened to this and said that corruption in judiciary, you have wantedly given this in order to scandalize the institution of judiciary. Now Supreme Court went severely on the central government and they said that they have to remove this chapter altogether and recall the entire books that was published. This is an unfortunate thing. They asked them to remove all the books that was released so far. So far, 82,000 books was circulated, and Supreme Court said that all these books has to be bought back. They have to remove that component in the syllabus, and in order to look whether the chapter is in consonance with the so-called dignity of the Supreme Court, according to the Supreme Court, you have to form a committee, and the committee has to approve that chapter. So this is what it is going on as far as NCRT book is considered. So former Supreme Court judge and senior advocate join the panel, which is to look into this NCRT curriculum. Now, this is a very dangerous thing or very shameful thing, at least to say, because already we have many cases which is pointing out that there is corruption in the Supreme Court or some corruption at least in the judiciary. And second thing is, judiciary is also having many loopholes, particularly the loopholes related to the so-called vacancies, delays in the judgments, and corruption allegations are present. Now, when this was written in the textbook, Supreme Court got offended and it has blamed the entire government, saying that we have to remove this. And unfortunately, 82,000 books that were released has to be called back. Now, imagine the waste of public money in this, an institution which is there to uphold the justice, to increase the transparency and accountability. If such institutions itself are doing these acts, this can be considered as a very sorry state of affairs across one leg of our governments, that is legislative, executive, judiciary. In judiciary, this is one thing. So this can be written as an example whenever we are writing about ethics, right? This is one thing. Next. So editorial page, India's Iran stance does not fuel a foreign policy debate. So this is about what is India's taking the stand. Here they have written this. Renewable versus change. Each Dravidian alliance bets the TVK which hurt the other. So renewal versus change. Now this is about the so-called Tamil Nadu elections which are going to be held. And with Mr. Actor turned politician, Vijay coming into the so-called political scenario of Tamil Nadu, they are saying that how the equations are being changed. Not that much important again for us, for our reference. After that, restore the rights. Adaptive mothers have the same rights as biological mothers. Now, what is this? This is one interesting story. Recently, the Supreme Court of India has said that the maternity relief that is given to the so-called the natural mothers will also be extended to the so-called adaptive mothers. Now, who is an adaptive mother? Who is a natural mother? Natural mother is a mother who has given birth from her womb to a child. Adaptive mothers is those who are going and adapting the child. Now, in India, you have a law known as Maternal Benefit Act. According to the Maternal Benefit Act, natural mothers will be getting 12 weeks paid leaves during the times of pregnancy. The same thing has to be applied to the so-called adaptive mothers. Mother is mother, so it has to be adapted. But what Indian government did is, what the legislature of the country did is, recently they have amended Maternity Relief Act. Recently, they have amended the Maternity Relief Act, and what they did is, the 12 weeks paid maternity was struck down to the so-called adaptive mothers. So Government of India said that adaptive mothers will not be entitled for this 12 weeks leave, paid leave. This was challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has reversed this order, or it has said that whatever the law that was made is not in consonance with the so-called the right to equality. So restoring the rights. So this is about restoring the rights. So giving back the rights that adaptive mothers should have on par with the so-called natural mothers is this context. Adaptive mothers have the same rights as biological mothers, natural mothers or biological mothers. Why this was done? Because the Government of India has changed the rules. In that context, they have given this. So in which act they have changed? if you look at the changes that they have done recently, the Maternity Benefit Act was replaced by Code on Social Security of central government. In this Code of Social Security, Government of India has introduced 4 new labor codes. One such code is Code on Social Security. Now, the problem in this Code on Social Security is central government conveniently removed this Maternity Benefit Act and they brought it under CSS, and they said that biological mothers will have this leave, but whereas adoptive mothers will not have the leave. This is a clear discrimination of central government by revoking the provisions of Maternity Benefit Act. So this is something which is a grace or disgrace to the central government for passing such remote laws. So what Supreme Court intervened and said that no, you have to give equal protections. This is what the case says. This is what the case says. So what the restoring the rights. So it is bringing back the rights that was available to both the women equally. After this, undemocratic politics in Great Nicobar overland. Just now I said the first page of paragraph is also discussing about the same thing. So this is about the Great Nicobarese project, which is going to be held or which is going to be started in Andaman and Nicobar. In that context, already we have said no need to go in depth about this. So whatever we discuss, that is the most important. From green to grey in Goa. From green to grey in Goa. Now this is something which you should know. Now, why these people are coming forward and why they are creating the so-called some agitation inside Goa. This is a photograph which was taken from Goa capital city, Panaji. Now, why this is in news? Why this is in news? Because of a controversial bill. Controversial bill. So recently, Goa has passed an act known as the Town and Country Planning Amendment Act. The Town and Country Planning Amendment Act. Town and Country Planning Amendment Act అనేది ఒకటి పాస్ చేసింది. Town and Country Planning Act. Now, according to the Town and Country Planning Amendment Act, there is a section known as Section 39A in this Act. There is a Section 39A of this Act. Now, what this Act says is, this Act has said, according to this Act, Section 39 Act has this provision. Now look at this. What is the provision of this Section 39 Amendment Act? So according to this Act, it allows the changing of ecologically sensitive zones such as forest, hills, and farmlands to settlement zones. This is the conflict. So it allows ecologically sensitive zones, the zones which has high biodiversity, ecologically highly sensitive, such as you have forests, ecologically sensitive zones, such as hills, such as farmlands. So they can be converted into settlement zones, which means you can compromise on the ecosystems or ecology for your benefit of human advancements. So in case of development, they wanted to destroy the environment. So this is what Section 39 permits you to convert the eco-sensitive zones as human settlement zones. As a result, people are fighting against it because it is destroying the pure and pristine Western Ghats inside Goa. So this is important. The Town and Country Planning Amendment Act is in Goa and it is related to it. Section 39A is related to it. Now the long walk. This is about, again, central government meddling with one act known as the Transgenders Rights Act. So recently, Lok Sabha has introduced a bill known as the Transgender Persons Amendment, Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment Bill. So for transgenders, Protection of Rights Amendment Bill was introduced in Lok Sabha. Now, according to this, earlier in the Nalsar case of Supreme Court said that a transgender can identify himself. No certificate from the authorities is required. But this bill says that you have to go to an authority, you have to get the certificate that you are a transgender. This is the first act which is diluting the Supreme Court judgment. As a result, people were upset here. The second thing is, it has limited the definition of who is a transgender. Only to certain sections in the transgender, it has limited. So first thing is, self-recognition or self-certification that I am a transgender is not allowed here. Second thing is, You should go to an authority and get that certificate. And third thing is it has limited the role of or the number of transgenders or the definition of transgender. So due to this amendments, people were unhappy, transgenders were unhappy. As a result, they said that we are unhappy with this bill. We are unhappy with this bill. So this is what they are saying. Self-identity is a human right. So this is the thing that they are saying. Self-identity. Who is the authority to have to come and say that our authority should come and say this? So self-identity is a human right. Now, who said? Even Supreme Court in majority of the cases has said that. So if you want to prove your sexual orientation, no need to prove to anyone. So sexual orientation is to be not ascertained by someone outside. It has to be ascertained by the individual themselves. In K. Puttaswamy case, it is a part of right to privacy. Self-certification of sexual orientation is a part of the so-called right to privacy according to Puttaswamy judgment. So in this context, they are saying that you have no right to create another body and say this. So they are against this bill due to this. They are against this bill due to this. After this, so LPG gas problems, these things. Now going to the business page, ladies and gentlemen. Core sector pace of growth halves to 2.3% in the month of January. So the core sector data has been released. Now in this context, we should know some important aspects. Now what is core sector? India's core sector has 8 industries. They are oil refineries, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, cement, fertilizers. This is the first thing. And who gives core sector data? DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce gives it. How often they will give? Every month they will give it. Every month they will give it. So in the entire index of industrial production, core sector has 40% of share or weightage. This is what we should know. So due to the war, the core sector growth was halved in the month of February. So this is what they are saying. So that's it that we have. Next one is, so these are the static components that you have to remember for prelims. Already a decent question was framed in our Telegram channel. Those who have not yet subscribed, you can go look at that, and you can subscribe for our Telegram channel also. The link is also provided in the description, so you can have a look at it. So questions were framed on this. Next, rupee slips to 82 paisa to 93.71 as oil process $108 per barrel. Now, in this context, what you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember why rupee depreciates. You have to remember what are the reasons for which rupee depreciates. If you know why rupee depreciates because whenever the import price is high, be it oil or other imports prices are high, rupee depreciates. This is first one. Second one is when foreign investors are going out of the country, when they are leaving the country, then there will be huge outflow of dollars. As a result, rupee depreciates. So these are the two things, and this is all due to the geopolitical tensions. So that is why rupee has been slipping. That is what they have said. And here there is one more news. Forex reserves for the month of February or March has slipped. So March 13th, every week they are going to give what is the total forex reserves. Unfortunately, the forex reserves has slipped to almost $7 billion from the so-called $7.05 billion. We have slipped in the first 15 days of March to this. Why? Again, we have to shell out that extra money for the so-called oil. As a result, the forex reserves are coming down. In this context, you should know what are the forex reserves components of India. If you look at forex reserve components of India, you should have foreign currency assets, which is highest, followed by gold reserves, followed by SDRs, followed by reverse tranche positions of IMF. So this is what forex reserves of India is. You have to remember that components. So this is the thing that we have in this. So this is one important thing. There are 3 components very vital for our prelims. One thing is core sector. Second thing is rupee, how it plots. Third one is forex reserves. These are very important from this business page. Now there is one more important in the business page, one more thing. Semaglutide Semaglutide. Semaglutide has been in news. What is this? Semaglutide is a drug which is used to treat the diabetic mellitus. Type 2 diabetes mellitus is treated by this. So type 2 diabetes mellitus is treated by semaglutide. Type 2 diabetes mellitus. Very, very important. Now, why it is in news? Semaglutide's patent is given for 20 years. So yesterday, the duration of this patent has been completed. As a result, now many local industries can produce this drug. For example, Dr. Reddy's has said that they are going to manufacture this. NATCO has said that they are going to manufacture this. So everyone in India can develop this generic drug. So branded drug time period is over. So we can develop this generic drug. As a result, what happens? The drug which is at a very high price, as it is generated by our local industry, they are going to come out with less prices. So this is extremely important. Semaglutide has completed its patent yesterday. In this context, what is semaglutide? It is a drug which is used to treat the so-called diabetes mellitus. Now, this is very important in the upcoming days because in India, we have seen highest rising cases of obesity. As a result, against obesity, to lose our weight, semaglutide is used. So this is a drug which is used to lose our weight and to treat the so-called the problems of insulin, high levels of sugar inside the blood. These things will be used here. Next. Next one. These are the things. Next, going to the so-called world page, there is no much news. The same thing, Israel war, these things. No need to look into that depth again. So again, the same thing is happening in the world. So pressures are being created. So these are the things that we have in today's newspaper, ladies and gentlemen. So every day we are making this as a part of discussion where we are discussing the so-called Hindu newspaper. Along with this, there will be some MCQs that will be based on this. Those who are very good at, if you are reading Hindu newspaper from your end, that is completely fine. Solve our bits which are given on our Telegram channel. And for that answers explanation, every day in the evening at 8:15, we are making a video known as Solve to Learn. So this is some simple way to remember current affairs for your competitive examinations. So this is our solution for current affairs as far as our ASTRA series is considered. Now, those who are preparing 2026 and writing 2026, what we'll do, we will be resuming our current affairs sessions very soon. So this can be for those who are preparing for the long term. And I'm also launching a program on how to look at Hindu newspaper because majority of the new students will not be knowing what to take from the Hindu newspaper or for our UPSC exam. So you can take general studies components, you can take essay component, you can take ethics examples from here. And you should also prepare the so-called mains answer writing. So a completely paid program is being launched for those students who are not able to understand how to read the Hindu newspaper. You can contact us for that. And we have started that program also. So this will be one-stop solution for your current affairs for all the exams. Right, guys? This is the one that we have. So we'll be meeting at 8:15 today for our Solve to Learn session. Good luck. Have a great day.